Perfect. So just remind you guys, I'm recording this so other students can see this as well. We are talking about Division 45 student leadership opportunities today. And if you have questions, I have a group chat as well, or you can just ask them directly, and I'll do questions at the end. Yeah, so I'm really excited that you guys joined me first and foremost. Thank you so much. And so I tell you a little bit about myself. My name is DESA KARYE. I'm a second-year doctoral student. I'm actually in counselor education at Kansas State University. And I do this because I love college students. So I know it's like kind of weird because we're college students and we're still in college, but I think that it's the best population out there. It's also tied into my research interest. I do research on African American college students, focusing on women. And I just think it's such a great opportunity for students to get involved in leadership early on and kind of figure out where they fit. And I think Division 45 is a perfect place for that. Again, I'm a little bit biased because I love 45, but I think it's also a good time for us to get involved and ask questions, and not have as much of the pressure, because we kind of can do our own things within our committee and make choices that we want to do and just highlight what we want to see for the next year. So I'm really excited for that as well. So what I'm looking for, most importantly, I'm looking for students who are willing to serve other students. Like I said, it's an interesting position because we're all students and we're all in different parts of our programs, but it's really important that you're interested in talking to other students about things that they can do. So like if you find out about a funding opportunity, being willing to share that with other students so that they too can have that opportunity. Or for instance, like if you got into the minority fellowship program, being willing to talk to other students about how they can also have that opportunity is important to me as well, just because I think that there are a lot of opportunities for us, but because we don't actively talk to each other about things we could be doing, it's hard for us to find out how we get those things done, or like who we talk to, things like that. I am excited about everything we're going to do this year, and so I'm hoping that you're going to be excited too, about just being a leader in Division 45, but bringing new content to Division 45 as well. Like I said, I don't know everything, and I'm looking for the student committee to bring new ideas and things that they want to see in terms of programming for next year's convention in Washington, D.C., but also just overall talking to other students about what's going on, what you're interested in, things like that. I really want us to collaborate more with other divisions this year, which is not something we've really done in the past. I think that there's so many divisions doing great stuff, and there's so many student leaders across APA that we really should combine resources and like offer webinars together, host events together, things like that. And so I definitely, like I said, I'm biased because I think Division 45 is the best division, but I'm hoping that if you are in Division 17 or 44 or even Division 1, that you're willing to bring those ideas to us and we can collaborate with those divisions as well. And last but not least, willingness to step outside your comfort zone and try new things. I think that's something that I am challenged to do every day, just because as doctoral students and master's students, we have so much going on already, and it's so stressful to be a student and like balance life. And so we kind of get comfortable in our routines and what we know. And I'm looking for you guys to challenge me, but also to challenge you as well on how we step out of our comfort zone so we can ultimately get better year after year. Okay, so open positions. So I have a liaison position. Like I said, that position is directly related to working with other divisions. Our other student liaison is Roberto. He is fantastic and he's super excited to do new things and try stuff. And really that's kind of the direction we're going in, is collaborating with other divisions, but also letting us know what other divisions are doing. So if Division 45 isn't necessarily doing something, but we think it's important to advertise and join in, making sure it's okay with that other division, asking how we can help and share resources, and also with other organizations as well. So like if you're involved in the Asian American Psychology Association or NLPA or ABSI, talking to them and seeing how Division 45 students can collaborate with them as well, just because there's so many conferences going on all year long that aren't just APA. And so if we have an opportunity to collaborate at one of those conferences with students, I think it will make our network just a little bit bigger. So that's kind of what the liaison position is. Next position is social media manager. It's exactly how it sounds. I am holding all of us responsible on our committee to all do this as well, but we have a Twitter, we have a Facebook page. I would like to get an Instagram going and some other things. So really tying into those connections and making sure that we can post this stuff on social media and people know what's going on, but also working on, like, if we have a new webinar, making sure we have a hashtag for it and people know what's going on, because as we know, our generation is really tied into social media, but we also have to make it manageable enough for our wise psychologists who can may not be as keen on Twitter, but they also want to know what's going on as well. Our mentorship committee coordinator will be working with Jasmine Jenkins. She is at, never mind. So she has been doing this position for a year now. She's done things like working with Links and Shoulders. Also, we are working on bringing back the mentorship aspect of Division 45 between established members of 45 and students. So this position really is helping us come up with ideas of things that we think will work. Also collaborating new ideas like for Links and Shoulders and other events that we think are successful for students to meet other professionals and really get students a better view of kind of what's going on in terms of like leadership. So not just like with our executive committee, our current president, Jacqueline Gray, but then also like who do students want to talk to? Because there's so many predominant psychologists in 45, but I think that students don't necessarily have a good connection to that. And I want to see that happen through mentorship. So I'm looking for 2 campus representatives, and we have a campus representatives program. So these 2 people will be in charge of overseeing each individual campus. There's about 24, and talking to those student groups, seeing how they're doing, offer them resources, ideas, events on their campuses, but also mostly offering them support. So how do we support these students on their campuses? How do we keep them successful? We do have some funding opportunities, and those are all things that the campus representative chairs will do, just because it's a big growing program and the students really need someone as a point person to have these questions for. So for our new positions, I added 3 new positions this year, and I might add a few more depending on if we think it will fit our mission for the next year or so. But the first position is Conference Committee Graduate Student Chair. So every year, Division 45 plans the conference programming for APA as associated with our division. In the past, this graduate student has been connected just with the programming chair, but this year that person's going to sit on our committee as well. This position, I believe that could be as much work as I do as student representative. And the reason I say that is because you will be required in this position to help the APA programming chair for Division 45, but also work with the student committee as well. And the reason I did that this year is because I feel like the programming needs to include students more, and it's an opportunity to offer more leadership opportunities for students down the road, such as reviewing poster sessions, helping review for awards, things like that. And I want to be able to give this position more support from the student committee to that student who's kind of working with professionals. The other thing to consider for this position is you are required to attend APA convention in Washington, D.C. It is non-negotiable because this position will know all of the programming, all of the events going on, the hospitality suite, things like that. And so you and I will be working really closely together, but we're both required to be there for the whole time. So if you are going to internship, which is fantastic, we should totally celebrate that, but this position may not be a great one for you if you aren't sure where you'll be during APA Washington, D.C. Like I said, I cannot highlight and stress enough, you are required to be at APA Washington, D.C. And I can ask more questions about that if people have questions. So the other new position is research committee chair. And this person is directly tied into research that's going on in 45, but also in APA. So letting the listserv know if there's new surveys or studies done by students, letting people know if there are free research opportunities for students to partake in, so either as participants or if they want to get more research skills. So like during the summer, there's an application for ATI, which allows students to go to a place and learn all about quantitative research, also qualitative research. So this position really is tied into making sure students know what research is going on, but also like grants, funding, all of those opportunities that go through the listserv, helping us stay in track of that. And then my last new position is postdoctoral position. So this position is unique in that this person is not a student. They, at this point in their career, have graduated. They are a doctor, but right now for Division 45, I especially am looking to help people learn about opportunities from leaving student life to becoming a doctor or entering professional life. And so this position really is talking about, now that internship is over, now what? So learning about postdoctoral opportunities in terms of applying to postdocs, other research opportunities, different career opportunities. So like, I think as counseling psychologists especially, there's these kind of like normal pipelines we know about as in faculty or doing research, things like that, but like what else is happening? So knowing about community research, knowing about jobs at clinics, things like that. I want to start offering those to the student listserv as well, because I feel like it's a weird gray area between when you're no longer a student and you're not really sure what to do, but then you're a professional. And because this is a new position, I'm really looking for this person to give me ideas because, of course, I'm only a second year. So I really don't know 100% what it's like to be a professional, but I feel like I know some ideas of people I've talked to. Yeah. So application. So there is an application page. I will resend it out to the listserv today. We would like to see an abbreviated CV. I really just want to see your 10 fabulous things. Remember, this isn't an application to get into graduate school. This isn't an application for a job. It's really an application for me to know directly why you're interested in student leadership, if you've done student leadership in the past, and then just some things that you think make you stellar, because I think that ties into who you are as a person, and I really want to get to know you. Letter of interest as well. Why are you interested in this position? If you're not 100% sure what position's perfect for you, let me know some positions you're interested in or some things you think you might want to do, and we can work from there. Letter of support. It's really important that I know you have someone either at your school or directly tied to you through your leadership opportunities, surrounded in psychology or in the health profession. So just making sure that with all the stress going on, you have someone other than us who can support you through this thing, because life is stressful. And last but not least, verification of doctoral status. This is the same as well if you're a master's student and you're interested in applying for these positions as well. I just need to make sure that you're in school currently, and you will be in school for the next year. So we will start in September, and your assignment will end August 1st, ultimately. But this just helps me know that either your advisor or someone knows that you're doing this, just so you're not caught off guard that you shouldn't be doing this, and we're not caught off guard and have to fill your position. So commitment. I do require monthly video conference meetings. I understand there's a lot going on, and it's fine if you miss a couple, but for the majority of the time, I need you to be present at most of them, because this is where we'll kind of flesh out ideas, find out what other people are doing, and make sure that we're moving on these projects. I also require monthly reports, and the reason I require them is because I am required to do them, and it just makes my job a little bit easier if I have a written record of what we're doing, and we can show the executive committee why we're doing these things and why we need funding. Just like everything in life, it has to be paid for. And so if we're looking to do more things and need more funding opportunities, having your monthly reports will help me establish all the things we're doing ultimately like for free and why we need funds to like make them better. Okay, so questions, comments, concerns. Again, my name is DESA Daniel. I'm the Division 45 student rep. You can email me them directly, or you can ask them to me now. I don't want to put you on the spot. Again, this is recorded, but yeah, let me know. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, well, oh, I see you, but I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Hi, Nelson?
Hi. Yep.
Yeah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Throw them at me.
So are there any kind of bigger initiatives that you have under development or underway currently?
Yes and no. So,
Okay.
so my greatest idea that I want to see us do this year is I really want to bring a lot more video conferencing and webinars to students.
Okay.
And I have kind of tapped into that, meeting people at division or at APA, but there's no real line of like what that looks like right now. I just think that we know so many people in our profession who do amazing things.
Yeah.
I think that it would be better for us to offer those things to students. So I am open to what that looks like. In the past, we've done kind of a webinar series with questions. So like for like 30 minutes, PowerPoint, and then open discussion questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it really can be anything. The last one was on Black Lives Matter, but I've talked to people about doing one on Indigenous ways of knowing, on IWOP. I've talked to people about doing them on their profession. So really, I'm like completely open to the idea, but I want to make sure we're doing more things like where students can see the end result and can meet other students through interest.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course. And then lastly, I will say, I am working on getting us more opportunities to offer programming at APA next year. And so that is probably the only other thing we're really focused on.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the greater goal for me is to increase student population within our division. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of students in our division, and I feel like they're not all connected.
Yeah.
So my ultimate mission by the time that I'm done with this is that students will be able to connect and we'll have a greater like network, a family of students. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe that we can get rid of all the isolation that people feel in their PhD programs. But if I can provide a space where you know another student you can talk to, that will just be like my greatest initiative with that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thanks, Nelson. Nice
no problem. Yeah, nice to see you as well. I had another question specifically about the liaison position.
Yes, go ahead.
So for that position, how many, I guess, divisions are you expected to be in contact with for those positions? Or for that position?
So we actually don't have any kind of guidelines.
Okay.
I know. So let me start from the beginning. So it's really, the greatest thing about student committee is we don't actually have our own bylaws within the student committee. We have the opportunity to pave the way as we see fit for the next year. And
okay.
So part of the liaison position, like I know Roberto is involved in NLPA. I do know some connections through ADSI, but yeah. I'm really looking for us to just make it so that we are no longer doing our own separate programming by ourselves, and we're connecting with people that we think would be interested in doing things. So I don't necessarily think you need to be a member of these other divisions, just your willingness to think of something. So like if you think like Division 17 and Division 44 would like to do a webinar on like LGBTQ counseling psychologists, we'll do one together.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I know that joining divisions is very expensive.
Yeah.
So I don't expect you to be members of these divisions, but more like reaching out to those student groups and being like, hey, would you be interested in collaborating on this idea? Or do you have any ideas you're interested in us collaborating on?
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great. And then last question, just about the research chair position. So is that position mostly about finding and forwarding and also aggregating um, things that have to do with research? So whether that be participant, like forward information on being a participant slash being able to get or increase your knowledge surrounding research and things like that, and then just passing that along through the listserv or?
So both. So I think it is a lot of disseminating information, which is what I do as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's also coming up with things on your own. So like if you know someone who is working in a hospital and doing research and they're willing to do a webinar on it, getting them on board and setting that up. Or like we have a lot of psychologists who've written books, and I know that doesn't necessarily directly tie into research, but having them talk about just why they wrote a book and like what the process is like, I think will help students decide if that's something they even want to do. Just because, like I said, my main goal is to make it so that students are connected and that you have the information.
Okay.
So, like, you can decide if, like, I don't see myself ever writing a book, but like I may be inspired after I talk to someone who's done it and like can tell me about the excitement of it. But even like the research behind why a textbook is very different than like a novel or something like that, and how those processes work, I think it's all kind of involved in research.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Those are really good questions. Good job.
Thank you.
Hi, DESA. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is about the time. So I know that there will be monthly video conferencing and the monthly reports. About how much time do you estimate goes into the reports, and how long are the monthly video meetings?
Yes, so our video meetings will be about an hour. I estimate that they'll probably be predominantly on Sundays. My goal is to set our committee and then send out a doodle for whatever time Sunday will work best for everyone from now until August. Some, like in the past, people have decided it was the third Sunday of the month. Other people have decided it's the fourth Sunday. I just want to keep it consistent so that people know when it's coming. It's an hour, and ultimately it's just brainstorming what's going on. If as a committee member you feel like you need to talk to me directly, that stuff we can schedule aside from the meeting. We don't need to take up all the time of the meeting. It's more just so that the whole committee's on the same page. As for the reports, it literally is a synopsis of what you've done in the last 4 weeks. It's not like, it's not a book report. It could be like a couple of sentences. It could be a paragraph. It just informs me so that I can inform the executive committee what's going on. My hope is that this year especially, they will see us as more of a presence and we'll be able to get more funding and get more stuff done that way. And your report is helping me let them know what's going on. In terms of timing, it depends on what you're looking to do. So if you're super excited and you want to do all the webinars in the world, then I think we'll have to plan the timing and make sure we're not oversaturating students. But I estimate that it's going to be, I would say, about 1 to 2 hours a week of one, making sure you're checking emails and like planning stuff you want to do for your committee chair. And then like ultimately the week that we have our meeting, that will be 1 of your hours. It's really a lot of just making sure you're keeping in contact with me. I don't have, like, I'm excited to do as much as possible as the committee wants to do, but we need to decide that as a group and kind of plan it out. So it will be very different this next year, is because like I want to offer a webinar once a month, but that doesn't mean that it will come from one committee chair. It may come from all of us. And I know that you guys are very busy as I am very busy. So this is not, like, this should not take over your life. And this should not be your main focus because you have a lot of other stuff going on. I just want to be able to make connections for students. So 1 hour a week, ultimately making sure, like, just so I know that you're alive and like doing okay, but then your reports just to make sure I know what's going on. And if you have a snag, how I can help you in doing that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So I know that, like, I will re-say this again. So the position that probably is going to require the most work will be the conference committee chair position, and because that will work with the student committee and with the APA Division 45 planning chair. That position also requires you to go to APA Washington, D.C. And I think that will require the most work because, for instance, when we have a call for proposals, the student will help with the committee chair, help with the proposals and like disseminating of proposals. So that one probably requires as much work as I'm doing, but all the other committee chairs, I don't expect you to do more than 5 hours a month, if that, and it will depend on if you're planning something for Division 45. Cool. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming. Again, email me if you have questions. I will resend out. Yes.
I think there was a question, but I think we can't hear her. I saw you talking, but we can't hear you.
Oh, can you type it in the group chat? I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't hear you. Oh. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Oops. All right. I'm going to put my email back up for you just so you can see it. If you do have questions, please email me. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me is through email. I try to be super responsive if possible. Again, thank you again for coming. And the deadline is August 15th. And let me know if you have questions about the deadline as well. I know there's a lot going on between now and then, so if you do want to apply but the deadline's not possible, or you can get a hold of your advisor or something, let me know. And questions. All right, so would there be any funding for going to next APA for programming chair? Thank you. So kind of. So I feel like I never say yes anymore. So when you are programming chair, you will be able to stay in the student suite for free. And so Division 45 will pay for your room for the whole entirety of the convention. So like this year it was we came on Wednesday and we left on Sunday, and you don't have to worry about your hotel room at all. Other than that, there are always Division 45 funding opportunities like travel awards that I encourage everyone to apply for, but we don't have like sanctioned funding just for you. So like you would still be responsible for your registration, and you still be responsible to getting to Washington, D.C. But as this person on the committee chair, I can guarantee you that we will pay for your housing. Yeah. So let me know if you have a follow-up question to that. So yes, I just have a quick question. Would there be any funding for going to APA programming chair? Yes. I think I just answered that. But again, let me know if you have questions. Nelson, do you have another question? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. Sorry. What happened originally was she sent a message to me privately, and so I tried to share it with everyone, and then I figured out how to share it with everyone, so then she shared it. So that's where the confusion was.
No, that's fine. So yes, we do offer the 5 days, I think it is, for someone to stay as in the suite. And there's like a lot of background noise.
No, probably on my end.
Oh, thank you. So that is also offered to all the student committee. So if you know for sure you want to go to APA Washington, D.C., and you don't mind sharing a room with the rest of the student committee, we all get free housing for staying in the student suite. There are requirements, so like we share the responsibilities of taking care of the suite and volunteering some hours of covering programming for the suite, but I feel like it's a good balance. So like if you're there to hang out and like meet people and things like that, you have potential to save like almost $1,500 of getting your own room. And so that part is great. And then also like this year, people in the student suite were able to meet like all the presidents of Division 45 and like meet some of our committee chairs. So it's another really good opportunity to kind of meet I guess like the famous people of 45 and kind of hang out with them and like hear about what they're doing and just make those connections that way. And then like, it's just a gateway to coming to things. So like when we have student programming, you guys will know what's going on. So it's like not a question, you know what time it is. Also like Links and Shoulders, other events that we're doing. You can volunteer for those events, but really you could just come and hang out. And from what I've gotten, people are just really excited to see students and excited for us to be around. And so people are super welcoming. So if you decide to do this position as programming chair, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to get experience as well with what it takes to program a convention. And also just working with these people really closely. And like, a huge pro is like it looks great on your CV. And I know that's like cliche because we're all working on our CVs, but in the long term, you're going to end up meeting these people again and they're going to remember how great of a job you did. And then maybe they'll give you a job. So I'm super hopeful about 45 in life all the time. So yeah. Any other questions? I don't want to keep people.
No, I don't have any.
Okay, perfect. So again, thank you so much. Email me if you guys have other questions. Let me know what's going on. Again, if you have problems with your applications, let me know that as well. I'm just really excited about the next year because I think that we can do a lot of great stuff, but like we're going to do it as a team. So if you're worried about the time commitment, let me know that too, and we can work on it. This is not an opportunity for you to self-exclude yourself because being nervous about what might happen. I'm super flexible in what this next year looks like because it's completely open because I really don't know. And people are texting me. My whole life is on blast. Okay, well, thanks,
Right.
guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good day.
You too.